Hello everyone, welcome along to another golf show here at Betfred. I'm here with six-time European Tour winner Simon Dyson. And Simon, in dramatic circumstances, we are celebrating another winner this week because Jon Rahm, of course, had to withdraw last week on the PGA Tour, having led after 3 rounds by 6 shots. Thankfully, though, because of the unusual withdrawal, we are still paying out as a winner on Jon Rahm, and he was your top selection last week. So well done on the winner, but of course, not the greatest circumstances and disappointing for him, no doubt.
Yeah, he'll be absolutely gutted. He's the type of player that will kind of try and bounce back from it, though, I'm sure. If he's eligible, I mean, I'm sure he'll be okay to play in the major next week. So he will want to kind of put that record straight. I mean, 6 clear. Me personally, I think they should have let him play as a 1-ball. I did a poll today on Instagram and a lot of people agreed with me on that they should have just let him play as a 1-ball. I don't think he'd have put anybody in jeopardy. You know, give him his own little section on the range. You know, go out with a scorer and just play as a 1-ball, because when you're 6 shots clear with 1 round to go, I feel like you deserve the opportunity to go and win the tournament. And I feel it was quite harsh on him, to be honest. So I'm pleased you're kind of counting it as a win.
Yeah, and he had a positive test, didn't he, before he went out to play in that 3rd round? I think they knew about it, but they were waiting for a second positive test just to make sure that the first was correct. So they'd already let him go out and play and mix on the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be a lot of people saying, yeah, they've done the right thing, but, you know, just one more day. I wish they'd kind of let him play because he deserved to win it. He's dominated that tournament for the last 2 years. So let him go and get his win and then quarantine, for me personally. But everybody has their own opinion on it.
Yeah, we saw the anguish after they told him on the final green, of course, on the Saturday night. As a player, I guess it's even hard for you to imagine what that must feel like. You must feel so great coming off the final green, knowing you got 6-shot lead going into the final round, and then for it all to be snatched away like that.
Yeah, exactly. Must be really difficult. I mean, I remember playing a tournament in China and I was 6 clear going into the last day. And if somebody had come up to me then and said, right, you're disqualified or you can't play, you know, I know how that would feel, because he knows he'd have won that tournament the way he was playing, head and shoulders above everybody else. He'd won it by, how many did he win it by the year before?
Well, he won it by 3, didn't he? And then I think he was 8 shots clear in the final round at some point as well. So
yeah. So, you know, he's clearly dominated that tournament. So he will definitely want to win that one next year.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed that first and foremost that he's okay and everyone around him, and he can come back for the US Open at Torrey Pines, because he's won there before as well at the Farmers Insurance Open. But of course, it did mean, Simon, that we did have a different winner. We had 2 winners this week, if you like. And in the end, it went to Patrick Cantlay, one of your other favourite players on the PGA Tour, beating Collin Morikawa in a playoff. So it's a good job we are paying out on Jon Rahm, because you hadn't backed Cantlay this week and you would have been gutted that he'd gone in.
I would, because he's normally one of my strong tips. You know, he's very, very strong player. And he's shown it throughout the years. He's won multiple times. He's a good front runner. And there's nothing in his game that kind of stands out. You know, everything is very, very good. So good for him to get the win. He'll be pleased with that. But it'll be a bit bittersweet, won't it? You know, he'll kind of feel like he didn't win it. But it was a good playoff. They both played some really nice golf, and it could have gone either way.
Yeah, some big putts held by Cantlay down the stretch. And he was magnanimous. He was gracious, wasn't he, in his interview afterwards, saying, you know, it's a bit bittersweet because we know that Jon Rahm should have been competing, and it would have been probably a different story if he had been. So it was good to see that from Cantlay. But it was interesting, wasn't it? Coors Swarm. I know you're a big fan, Simon, of Coors Swarm, but all the previous winners of that event, Morikawa, Cantlay, or Morikawa in a different event at the same course, and Jon Rahm, all performing well. We've seen that so much this year. Coors Form has been really strong.
It's so important. It's so important. Look at Rory at Wells Fargo. You know, there's just something about it. You've got that many good memories from it. You go into it that bit more confident because you can see where you hit good shots. Whereas when you play a course and you don't play very well, you're not remembering all the good from it. You're just remembering the bad. So when you've won, it's really important to kind of get those feelings going again of the good shots and remembering all the the positive stuff from it. And that seems to happen a lot with people who play courses really well.
Yeah, it's another great event. The Memorial, always a big event on the PGA Tour. And we're recording this just after Marcus the Bullet Armitage won for the first time on the European Tour in the Porsche European Open. Of course, that was an event that was restricted just down to 54 holes, Saturday to Monday. And it's great to see, isn't it, the Bullet get a win finally, because I know both of us are big fans of him.
Yeah, great to see. You know, he's good for the game. He's just kind of gets on with it, does his own thing. And he's exciting to watch. And I think that's lacked a lot in golf at the minute, you know, especially on the European Tour. There's not many characters out there, and he certainly is one of them. And you fast forward from 2-3 years ago, I mean, he was probably at the low, you know. I don't even know if he was competing on Challenge Tour, playing in the 2020 stuff last year, and all of a sudden, like, he's just had that resurgence, and his game's gone to a couple of levels up from where it was 2 years ago. And you know what? It's great to see, because I know how much despair and trouble he's gone through over the last few years. So I love to see success stories like that, and he deserves it. He's a good lad.
Yeah, heck of a final round. It nearly got away from him at the end, but 7 under final round to post 8 under total. So a 2-shot victory for Marcus Armitage. And a word on Paul Casey as well, because he looked out of it after the first day, especially in a 3-day event, but he's managed to battle back and finish 6th. So we've got a place out of him as well this week.
Yeah, he did well, did really well, because when it's a 4-round tournament, you know you've still got the 3 rounds to try and claw it back. But when it's a 54, which is kind of unheard of, it's one of those. His mindset will have been very different. He'll have kind of seen that as, right, that's the cut. I've got 2 rounds to make it up. And he's very good at adapting like that, is Paul.
Yeah, he would have been disappointed with that start, but managed to claw it back in the end. So, right, that's a recap then of last week. Thankfully, another winner, thanks to our pair on Jon Rahm. Let's hopefully get one this week, Simon. We'll move on to the European Tour event, which is a first for golf this week. It's a new event, the Scandinavian Mixed, hosted by Henrik Stenson and Annika Sorenstam, a co-sanctioned event between the men's and the ladies' European Tours. So this week, 78 men and 78 women will compete in the same tournament for the same prize money on the same course. So it's a new initiative. We've done this so many times on the European Tour. It sounds like a very good idea, Simon. Fingers crossed it goes well.
Do you know what? It sounds like a great idea. You've always got to move with the times and bring in new things. And this is something very new. And I honestly, I don't think this will be the last time we see this, because I used to remember playing in Morocco, and there was always a men's and a women's tournament. They played on a different course, and it was 2 separate tournaments. But it was actually nice to kind of, you know, socialize with the girls and talk to them about, you know, how they're working, how they're training, what they're doing, how the game is. And it's nice. It just brings a bit of variability in there. And I think it'll be accepted really well. And fair play to, you know, Henrik and Annika for putting it on. So I'm actually quite looking forward to watching it, and can't see how they fare against each other, really.
Yeah, it should be great exposure for them. I think we're guilty of it, aren't we, as well, not focusing in on the women's events here on the show, because we had the Women's US Open as well. So it's definitely something we'll have to do more in the future of. A great finish to that tournament last night. But interesting that they've got the big hitters in there, haven't they? Annika Sorenstam and Henrik Stenson. That'll certainly lend a lot of weight to the tournament and get eyes on it.
Well, two of the biggest golfers in Europe and in the world, and the 2 biggest in Scandinavia. I don't know whether Thomas Bjorn will appreciate me saying that, but for me they are. You know, Henrik's a major winner, Annika's won countless majors, and they've both won loads of tournaments. So to get them together and to put their might behind a tournament like this, it can be nothing but good. Okay, let's have a look at the course then, because it is a new course of the tour. It is the Valdo Golf and Country Club just south of Gothenburg in Sweden. And it's a course that's been inspired by Scottish heathland courses, actually. It's very interesting, isn't it, the way this has been designed. We've got a par 72 for both the men and the women. The men will play just over 7,000 yards, and then the ladies will play from the ladies' tees, which is just over 6,100 yards. So it'd be interesting to see whether that makes an 11 player field, Simon. And because it's a links course, as I always think, that also levels things up as well. Yeah, exactly. And they always try and, I know the 2020 lads try and make it between 10 and 15%. That's kind of the deviation on the distance. And that's what they've done. You know, they're going to be 900 yards shorter. So you're about at probably 13% difference, which sounds about right. You know, and you've got some very good players playing it. The course looks really, really nice. Bunkers are so well placed. There's a lot of water. You know, it could be quite firm and fast, so you're going to have to kind of plot your way around. But it should be a really interesting tournament on a really nice course.
Yeah, what sort of characteristics are you looking for going ahead to this week?
I think strategy would be important. You know, kind of plotting your way around. There's going to be a lot of dangerous shots. It's not going to be welly it everywhere and get it down as far as you can. You're really going to have to pick what club you're hitting off the tee. There'll be somewhere you're attacking, somewhere you're a bit more defensive. And then the greens are pretty generous as well. And if the greens roll true, you know, it's not the longest course at 7,000 for a par 72. But I think that's because there's a lot of layups off tees and, you know, it's not going to be driver everywhere. So, but I reckon the scoring will still be pretty good if the weather's good as well.
Okay, let's get to your picks then. It is the mixed event. So have you gone mixed for your picks as well, men and women?
I've gone mixed with my picks, yeah, I have. So my first one, I've gone for Aaron Rai. Strategically, very good. Leaves no stone unturned. You know, he will get his game plan at the beginning of the week and he will stick to it. He's a very good player. You know, that again, a bit like Cantlay, not much in his game where you go, boy, needs to work at that. You know, it's kind of a linksy type course, like a Heathland Scottish one. And he obviously won the Scottish Open last year, so we know he can play on links type golf. And, you know, he'll want to get the win this year at some point. So no better time than now.
Okay, Aaron Rai, the first pick for you. Who is the second?
I've gone for Emily Christine Pedersen. Fantastic golfer. Won the Order of Merit last year on the European Tour. She's Danish, so Scandinavian. I feel like, you know, we talk about the South Africans when they're hard to beat on the home soil. Scandinavians are the same. You know, they were always up there when I was playing in the Swedish Open, the Danish, things like that. You know, she's won 5 times on the European Tour. There isn't another female in the field who has won 5 times. So Rookie of the Year 2015, and she's just kind of gone strength to strength, and she's playing a lot more on the ladies on the US Tour. So she's pitting herself, in my opinion, against better class of player. So to come back here, you know, there's no wonder she'll be the favourite.
Yeah, I think she'll be standout, won't she? 4 wins last season, 3 wins in a row as well, consecutively on the tour. And as you say, now coming back over to play on the Ladies European Tour this week with this co-sanction event, I'm sure she will be the one to beat. Right, looking forward to that one. Hopefully it is a success and we see more of it in the future. Let's move on to the PGA Tour event as well. It is the Palmetto Championship. It's a one-off event this year to replace the Canadian Open, which has been cancelled once again, unfortunately, due to COVID concerns. And we're back in the state of South Carolina once again, like we've had the Heritage here recently, the USPGA as well, and we're at a new track, which is Congaree Golf Club. It's a very good field, isn't it, Simon? We've got the US Open next week, so the players are making their final preparations. You've got the likes of DJ and Koepka in particular here.
Yeah, good field, very good field. You know, it's good warm-up for the major. You never want a week off before a major. So to have the chance to come and play a course like this, now we're talking about Valdo Golf Club in Scandinavia. This one looks even better. This looks absolutely stunning course. They've based it around the course like Walton Heath type. And for America, that's quite rare. But it just looks absolutely stunning. 7,655 yard par 71. That is a brute. That is an absolute brute. It's got a Heathland feel. It's going to be long, no rough, wide fairways. These lads are going to be opening the shoulders. And again, with it having that Heathland linksy type feel, there's still going to have to be some strategy there. But you're going to see a lot of guys opening the shoulders with the driver this week.
Yeah, so surprised that this course has ended up on the PGA Tour. It's very well thought of, isn't it? Only built 3 years ago, opened 3 years ago. It was voted Golf Digest best course built in the last decade, and it's already number 39 on their list of the best courses in America as well. So even though this is a one-off event, I'm sure it'll find its way back on the schedule, Simon.
Without a doubt. I think the players will absolutely love the challenge and the experience of playing a course like this, because it's totally different. It's totally different. And when you get the opportunity to pit your best against a course like this, a lot of guys rise to the challenge. So yeah, I think we'll see this is a regular occurrence on the PGA Tour.
Okay, and before we get to your picks, what sort of characteristics, once again, were you looking for?
I mean, driving length is going to be important. Obviously, approach will be as well. Tee to green. Greens looked pretty generous. Bunkers, again, well placed. You know, they've really put thought into setting up this golf course, and the designers, they've really thought about it. And so, yeah, you've got to have some strategy, but length off the tee and quite a strong penetrative ball flight would be important this week, with it being so firm and bouncy as well.
Okay, well, with that in mind, how many picks have you got and who's the first?
I've gone for two. I've gone for a lad who's in form, and he's a great links player, Brandon Grace. You know, I've picked him a couple of times over the last year. Just really good. I love his ball flight, never gets it too high. So he can use his advantage here will be he's very straight. So he's going to use the run on the course. And he won 4 months back. He's been playing good. He's been playing some really good golf of recent. And this will be the type of course where he's like, right, this is the type of course I know I can do well at. So he'll have confidence going into this week.
Yeah, he won the Puerto Rico Open, didn't he, not too long ago on the PGA Tour. That's a fantastic win for him, and fingers crossed we can get another big performance from Brandon this week. And who's the second?
I'm going to go for Luke List. You know, last week he was second in strokes gained off the tee, seventh in distance overall, which is obviously going to be important. Tee to green, distance. And he had a good week. He finished sixth at the one where he won at the Wells Fargo. So good bit of form. Putting's a little bit to be desired, but we all know how quickly that can change. You know, you start on a Thursday, you hold 2 or 3 good putts in the first 2 or 3 holes. All of a sudden, you forget about the past 3 months of bad putting. You know, it's the here and now, so that can change very quick. But it's the fact that his tee to green is so good and so consistent, and he's got the length. So yeah, he could do well, Luke.
Yeah, he's played well on some big courses, hasn't he? Some proper courses, if you like, at the likes of the Wells Fargo. And also, I think at the Farmers at Torrey Pines, he had a top 10 earlier this season as well. So fingers crossed, it's a good putting week for Luke List. All right, so 4 picks this week across 2 events. As always, Simon, if you had to pick out just one, I think we did go around last week. I'm going to give it to you anyway. Who is the Nat this week?
I'm taking it. I'm going to go for Emily Christine Pedersen. Just world class, really, really good player.
And imagine if we did get a female winner in that event for the first time.
Great. It'd be absolutely fantastic. And do you know what? I kind of hope we do. You know, it'd be great for their game. It'd be great for the game in general. So I'll be rooting for her.
Yeah, as I say, we probably should do more on this show, admittedly, with the women's golf. Because I know as a coach now, you do coach a lot of women. It's always something you've been involved with. Absolutely.
I've got my Tuesday session, and it's the ladies' session tomorrow. So it's the first one I've done. Obviously, I've had some of the girls and ladies involved last year, but this one is a specific for the ladies group. Because obviously the deviations and distances from the pin and distances shot wise is very different. So I can just base it purely around their stats now, which is really good. And I like watching them. And do you know what? They're always so keen to learn as well. A lot of guys think they already know it, whereas the girls are willing to learn, which, I'll always have anybody in who's willing to learn.
Yeah, well, it was certainly exciting watching the Women's US Open last night, and fingers crossed the Scandinavian mix this week goes very well too. All right, Simon, pleasure as always. Thanks for your company. We'll be back next week. We've got a big event, haven't we? It's the Torrey Pines, the US Open. Memories of Tiger winning on one leg.
Big one. Yeah, he was struggling, wasn't he? But he was hopping around when he held that putt on the 72nd. It was all right then. But
where were you at that time?
What year was that?
2008, I think.
2008, that was just before I broke into the top 50. I broke into the top 50 in 2009. So that was the one that I didn't get to play.
Yeah, he was.
It was good to watch.
It was an incredible performance, wasn't it? Because of course they went to a playoff, didn't they, with Rocco Mediate, and he was just laughing it off. That putt, he sort of knew, didn't he, that he was going to make it, and he had a long day coming up the next day.
Yeah, if ever there was anybody going to make that putt, it was Tiger, and it didn't even go in the middle. It crept in the side, but it went down like a rat down a drain pipe, didn't it? Just everybody in around that arena was willing that putt in.
Yeah, I'm still not sure how it went in on those power greens after all those players have walked on it all day long.
Yeah.
But somehow, like he always used to, Tiger Woods found a way. Great memories, and fingers crossed we get some more next week. Right then, Simon, thanks once again, and thanks to everybody for watching as well. Get to betfred.com for the latest odds and offers this week. 2 events, one on the European Tour and the PGA Tour that we're focusing on. And as we've been saying, next week is a big one, so do join us next Monday for our preview of the US Open. We'll see you then.